Let's talk about Epstein. Okay. Last week, Democrats in Congress released a handful of salacious emails about Trump from a trove of documents provided by the Epstein estate, including one in which Epstein says that Trump, quote, knew about the girls. That prompted Republicans to accuse Democrats of cherry picking.
That evening, Stephen Colbert stepped into the spotlight with a composed intensity that commanded immediate attention before he even uttered a word. While the crowd anticipated his usual brand of sharp-witted satire or a clever critique of the latest DC turmoil, the atmosphere shifted with a sudden chill that seemed to freeze even the house band. For days, Donald Trump had been dismissively labeling any inquiries regarding Jeffrey Epstein as stale, fabricated, and unworthy of a serious person's time. He sneered at the subject, waving it away with the bravado of someone who believes that sheer persistence can rewrite history. Colbert, however, wasn't interested in the static. He was interested in the timeline. Sequence is a formidable weapon when the truth refuses to fade. Seated at his desk with fingers interlaced, he began softly, "Tonight, we aren't focusing on his current rhetoric. We are focusing on what he is desperate for you to strike from the record."
Just for starters, in this new batch, Trump's name appeared over 1,600 times. Wow, the 16, that's a big number. What numbers are less than that?
900, 600, 500, 1,200.
The usual warmth of a comedy taping vanished, replaced by a heavy silence that suggested the audience knew they were witnessing a transition from entertainment to a serious reckoning. Colbert bypassed immediate condemnation, opting instead for a study in contradictions. A brief video reel played, capturing Trump confidently trivializing his ties to Epstein as boring and irrelevant. Once the monitors faded to black, Colbert met the camera's gaze. "It's a bold tactic," he remarked. "Whenever a man insists a topic is too dull to explore, it's usually because that topic is too hazardous to leave unexamined." A low, collective murmur rippled through the seats. Without any theatrics or swell of music, Colbert pulled a slender file from beneath his desk. Just a simple collection of papers. "I'm not asking for your blind faith," he stated. "I'm asking you to trust what your eyes tell you." The backdrop lit up with a series of public records and archival snapshots. A gala photo, a candid party moment, a frame from a news clip.
As President Donald Trump is mentioned more than 1,000 times. And the New York Times found 5,300 files with references to Trump and more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, and Mar-a-Lago. 38,000 references. That seems low, frankly. Obviously, this is the biggest story imaginable.
"It is a classic maneuver," he said. "Saturate the airwaves, muddy the history, vilify the messenger, and wait for the public to mistake fatigue for resolution." This observation sparked a genuine roar of approval. Then came the turning point of the monologue. Staring directly into the lens, Colbert declared, "And here is the variable he can't manipulate. The moment the name Epstein is introduced, the entire performance fractures." He took a beat. Because suddenly, this isn't a matter of PR anymore. It is a matter of proximity and history. The silence returned, deeper than before. Colbert didn't claim to have a smoking gun. He simply demonstrated how the mere mention of the name derailed Trump's composure. The dismissals became more jagged, the tone more aggressive, the diversions more frantic.
These files include many disturbing allegations, all denied by the White House as being unfounded and false. I want to be clear about that. But among these is that before he was president of the United States, Donald Trump forced an underage girl to perform oral sex and hosted big orgy parties with young girls at one of his golf clubs.
That, Colbert explained, is why bringing it up matters. It isn't that the name is a magic spell, it's that it disrupts the entire script. Colbert paused the image. "Look right there," he said, gesturing to the screen. "That expression isn't rage because the question is unfair. It's rage because the question won't die." A mix of gasps and applause filled the hall. Lowering his voice, Colbert said, "The real threat isn't just what occurred in those private rooms or past events. The threat is a power that believes it can survive by convincing the public to doubt their own recollections." He let the gravity of the thought sink in. Because if every image is a deepfake, every witness is a liar, and every timeline is a fabrication, then the truth becomes a commodity to be bartered. He then offered the definitive takeaway. The mention of Epstein changes the game because it serves as a reminder that there are some shadows even a strong man cannot shout into submission. By the conclusion of the segment, Colbert hadn't raised his voice or performed for the cheap seats. He had done something far more surgical. He utilized a single name, a behavioral pattern, and a public archive to create a mirror that Trump couldn't break. The audience stood, giving not a celebratory cheer, but the kind of heavy, thoughtful ovation reserved for a moment when a lie is slowed down just enough for everyone to see its true shape. And in this narrative, far from the cameras, Trump was likely reacting exactly as predicted, fuming and lashing out, unwittingly validating Colbert's entire premise with every angry post. Once the name was spoken, the illusion shattered, and everyone watching saw the reality behind the act.